everyone, today I'm coming from my craft studio and I'm going to show you how I take a digitally created image and I use my cut files with my Cricut to cut it out. I know many of you think that you can only cut out stamped images with your cutting machine, but you can also utilize any of our digital Pretty Impressions images and cut them with your cutting machine. Since I have a Cricut, I will show you how I use my Cricut, but you can probably do the same technique with any machine. Now here I have the image that I have created first, printed, and then cut out with my Cricut. So the first thing you want to do is pull your image up onto your computer and then take your piece of cardstock and load it to your mat. Now the important thing that you need to do is make sure that when loading your cardstock to your mat that your paper is perfectly aligned with the corners of the mat. Now you're then going to take your mat and load it to your Cricut machine. I'm just going to move this over to here and you can see I have my machine and I'm going to load my mat. Now there's a little lip right here. I like to make sure that my paper is loaded against that. And I am, just so you can see what I'm doing, I am on my computer and I have one of my newest tags called Roundup, and I am going to tell my Cricut to cut that out. And I'm going to cut it twice because my blade's getting a little dull. So I'm going to tell my Cricut to, yes, please cut out the Roundup tag. So now coming back over, to my Cricut, we're going to cut out the Roundup tag. Now what we're doing is creating a template so that we can cut a digitally enhanced image. Once my Cricut's done cutting the tag, I'll show you how you can utilize this template to cut out your own digitally enhanced images. Okay, so it's all cut out and I'm going to remove the tag from my paper. I usually use paper that I don't plan on using again or I don't really need. Now this is important. I then remove this from my mat and I would cut it down. Now I'm going to bring this over to my workstation. So sorry, this is on a tripod and I'm trying to work at the same time. Okay, so I have my mat. We'll just put it back here. I have this cut out. I have a template that I have already created from a teal cardstock, and I have marked the corner so that I know this is the corner that needs to go against my mat. Now I have an image, the same image, all printed on my cardstock, ready to go. So what you want to do is take your cutout piece. So again, this was already done, and then I just cut it out with my paper cutter to make it a little bit more easy to manipulate. And then my digital image was already printed on a much larger piece of cardstock that I've also cut to make manipulating a lot easier. And I'm gonna layer the two. So, working from behind the camera so you can hopefully see, I try to lay it out to be exactly where I want it. Now hopefully you can see there is a perfectly even border around my image. Once I have it exactly how I want it, I go back over to my mat. Now I'm going to move this a bit closer and angle it down so hopefully you can see. So here I have the corners of my mat. Now I'm not going to align the bottom layer. I'm going to make sure that I align the layer that was used on my template. So I lay this down. And if my image underneath moves, I now take this opportunity to either pick it back up and align it or, move it where I need to. Okay, so that's exactly where it needs to be. I'm going to lay this down. Now, as you can see on my mat, it's exactly how I need it to be. Now you want to remove your template and go back over to your machine, ensuring you're loading the mat the same way. That's why pushing against this lip here helps. And There we go. And then I just load my machine and I hit cut. And once that starts cutting, you'll see that it'll easily cut out my image. Okay, now it's done. I'm gonna unload my mat and peel this off. Sorry about that. And as you can see, I have my digital image cut out perfectly using the cut file. And it was on the first try. Just by making a template, you are all set and good to go. And again, just making sure that you're properly aligning your template cardstock with your mat. Now, you can make sure you don't have to keep creating a template every time by saving your, if you look at, we'll come over to the computer. If you save, you know, that image on the mat as is, as a new project, it will often load in the same place. But I find it's just easier to, you know, take this every time and just make a template. Now, you can also resize your digital images and your template, leaving many more possibilities. Just remember when you resize that you choose the resizing option by percentage. That way, if you resize your image by 20%, you would resize your cut file by 20%, and you can get the same exact, you know, thing every time. Having the digital images with the cut files opens up a whole new world of possibilities and sizes. So anyway, I hope you appreciated this tutorial, and thanks for watching.